This is the single most racist act a Democrat has ever committed. Welcome to the Jason Rantz Show, presented by None Better Tax Resolution. For 2 years, Democrats and left-wing media vacillated between ignoring the illegal immigration crisis and pretending any criticism was xenophobic. And yet, when Governors Greg Abbott of Texas and Ron DeSantis of Florida started busing migrants to sanctuary cities, it got a whole lot of attention. Democrat pearl clutchers claimed how absolutely obscene it was.
We're committed to fixing the immigration system. Instead of working with us on solutions, Republicans are playing politics with human beings, using them as props. What they're doing is simply wrong. It's un-American. It's reckless.
We heard smears about the Great Replacement theory. We were told that conservatives just don't want brown people in their cities. And when the buses kept coming to New York and Chicago, it was deemed especially racist.
I cannot ignore the fact that Governor Abbott sent migrants only to cities with their black mayors.
Now, it didn't matter that what he just said was verifiably false. It made for great video to play on news by reporters who refused to fact check it. One city where migrants are being bused? Denver, with its white mayor, Mike Johnston. They've been getting migrants for a while now, and they quickly started to complain. They said that they were being inundated and they couldn't handle it, and that's precisely when the white governor, Jared Polis, started busing them out of town. But he did it in a culturally inclusive way, whatever that even means, and he escaped criticism. But this might be hard to escape. A Denver city official was caught on video begging illegal immigrants to leave their sanctuary city and go to New York or Chicago, where they still have black mayors. Denver communications liaison Andres Carrera, who is also the political director for the mayor, said this courtesy of Next 9 News.
Nueva York te da más, Chicago te da más. Entonces sugiero que vaya por allá, donde hasta también con un albergue de más largo plazo, también hay más oportunidades de trabajo por allá.
He must be a racist. Or he's sending them to cities that have screamed louder than others that they're sanctuary cities and have much larger budgets than Denver. Now, of course, this isn't racist, but it is hypocritical. You cannot argue they're uninvited guests. You quite literally invited them when you declared yourselves a sanctuary. The reason this was allowed in the first place was because it only impacted red states. This was intentional, and that's why they're pushing back. Democrats want to turn red states blue, and they've been targeting Texas and Arizona for a very long time now. More migrants in those states, more potential votes when they become green card holders and eventually citizens. Now, there are bad faith smear merchants who claim that this is a white supremacist dog whistle. It's pretty obvious what they're doing. It's not about replacing white voters. It's about outnumbering Republican voters. And it's not like the Democrats are hiding their intentions. In New York, San Francisco, illegal immigrants were given the right to vote in local elections, though the laws were later tossed out by courts. However, in D.C., a federal court kept in place a law allowing non-citizens to vote. Democrats are just testing how far they can go. Now, the good news is their plan is backfiring. It's actually hurting Joe Biden. Illegal immigration amongst the top issues ahead of this election, and Biden is absolutely underwater. You can see why. Trump leads by a wide margin because, as it turns out, Americans want legal immigration fixed, not a porous border. And as much as the left thought this move would actually please Latino voters, the polls have shown an overwhelming shift towards Republicans and specifically Donald Trump. Oops. Jason Rantz here with Greg Nunn, your local tax expert and advocate. Greg, thank you so much for coming on.
Hey, Jason, great to be with you again and talk about these tax issues.
So some folks out there have the IRS calling them nonstop or even coming to their door. What do you recommend they do?
You are protected by statute, by law, that when you have representation, they have to deal with your representative. And I am acting in your best interest when I'm dealing with the IRS. And I tell you, you don't want to talk to them, it'll just stress you out.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, then call Greg Nunn. Greg might be able to negotiate a settlement for up to 85% off the original amount owed, and that includes penalties and interest. Call Greg Nunn today. Did you like that commentary? Make sure you subscribe to the podcast of The Jason Rantz Show. Get it at KTTH.com or wherever it is you download your podcasts.